Okay, so today we will talk in English. Um, I will just wait for Luka to connect and we will get started. Here he is. Hello.
Good to go?
We're good to go.
Good. Dobro jutro.
Hello. Dobar dan.
Dobar dan.
I just said that we will be speaking English, okay?
All good.
I think it's even easier for you right now, right?
Probably not, but to everybody can understand. Probably that's
Yeah,
easy.
exactly. Okay, so first, thank you for joining me in this chain of positive live chat. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
You are more than welcome in as always. We go way back. So
Exactly.
friends
So
good.
I don't think that Luca needs any special introduction. Maybe if like just someone wants to know that we met, I don't know how many years ago when I started to work for ACH Volley. He was a head coach back then, and then he like pulled me to national team and stuff like that. I learned a lot from him, so I'm really happy that we have opportunity to talk today here and share our positive thoughts with you guys. So basically, we will be talking mostly about how important it is to work something that you really like, how hard you have to work to get there, what does it mean working hard and stuff like that. So Luca, should we start with the first line? Let's say how important it is for you that you are working on what are you working, and you can tell our guests what's your position right now.
So currently I'm working as a USA volleyball women's national team assistant coach and head coach of the North Carolina State University. Um, that's my two current jobs. And I'm fortunate to work with Karch, and I'm fortunate to start a new story, new path, new chapter in my life with NC State. So I'm in a pretty good position right now, even though with the Corona, COVID-19 going on, life is still pretty good. Um, Working hard, was that the question?
Yeah, okay, we can go with that also. But I wanted to ask how important it is for you to work on something that you really love and you really wanted to do.
I don't even know what it is when you work and you don't like it. I was always fortunate enough that I was playing volleyball, and then I was playing more volleyball, and then I was playing volleyball while going in college, and then play more volleyball and then coach. So that's my life story. So I was always fortunate enough to do stuff that I really love, that I love the most. So it's really hard for me that, and of course, meanwhile, I was working as a, I don't know, sports medicine, I mean, physical therapist, whatever you call that. That was another passion of mine. So I was never stuck somewhere where I don't want to be. I was always working in the fields that I really loved, that I envisioned myself that I'm going to be doing. So, but I can imagine I can struggle a lot for all their lives doing stuff they don't want to do. So I guess
Mm,
it's vital and it's extremely important to do things that you love. Fortunate.
mm, mm. And even though then okay, I feel the same as you. But even though that we are working on something that we really love and it's still stressful sometimes, right? And it's not always easy job, even though it is a job that we love. So how to motivate when you have like tough moments or I don't know if some periods are really stressful or some bad, I don't know, things happens. Where do you find your motivation?
I don't know. It's coming from within. I guess it's passion. That's something I grew up with. Like once I'm like, oh, volleyball, that's the thing. that's the passion, and that was just within me. That fire has been present all the time, and it's not getting smaller, it's getting bigger. And you learn, I've learned that there's going to be a lot of failures, that I'll be wrong often, that I'm going to lose often, that I'm going to do things falsely often, that things are going to be just really, really hard. And once you learn that and you understand that you're walking through hell often, that means you just got to keep going. So, and everything's going to be just okay, and be truth to yourself. Don't waste time on things that drag you back. You got to keep pushing, keep moving. So it's passion, it's love for something you're doing. But if you are expecting things to go smoothly, then you're probably going to have really hard time in any kind of line of work, not just being a coach or being whatever. So passion one, you got to be honest to yourself, knowing that it's going to be extremely hard if you want to be good.
You mentioned that you have to be true to yourself. That also means that you have to be able to admit that you're wrong, right? You said in the beginning. And this is something that a lot of people are not able to do. They just try to find, like, I don't know, someone else to put the guilt on. And I think that in this process of self-growth and fighting for what we want, it's really important that we know and that we learn from our mistakes, right?
Learning is the biggest chunk of what I hope I am right now, Luka of, I don't know, 2000s version. That learning is a big emphasis on everything we do, I do, people that I'm surrounding, people that are surrounding me. Learning is everything, and that's another thing. Like once you can put that in your mind that you're never good enough or you're not good enough yet, that's a driving force as well. As long as as soon as you're like, oh, I'm okay, as soon as you feel comfortable, you're pretty much done. You got to make sure that you know, that you keep moving. There's so much to explore. There's so many people that know so much more than you know. It doesn't have to relate to volleyball. It can relate to psychology. It can relate to statistics. It can relate to motor learning. It can relate to skill acquisition. There's so many people that know so much more than I do. I know nothing. Why not ask things that really matter in your profession, in our profession, coaching? All these things really matter. Nutrition really matter. I'm fortunate enough that I got a degree with sports medicine, a lot of understanding how body functions, biomechanics, and so on and so forth. But still, there's so many more people that know way more than just continue learning, asking, talking to people, and being wrong a lot, and being full enough understanding there's people that know way more than you do, and sharing. It's huge. Can you share? Do you feel comfortable sharing anything, everything you know with somebody else? Because return to what you invest is going to be huge because they're going to share. So I just learned something new. And if you can overcome that and stop pointing fingers and waiting for somebody else to do your work, then you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I can totally agree with everything you said. And like you said that you're Luka version 2000. I feel the same. I remember the times when I started in this sports management when we met actually, and I know how I feel about, I don't know, different comments or maybe critics or stuff like that. In the beginning were bothering me because I thought that I'm not good enough, but now I know that they're good for me, because I always learn something new. And if I do a mistake, I think about it and I'm really sorry about it. And I know that I will do everything that next time it doesn't happen. And it's not important. This is not important only in sports life. It's like in general in life, it's like that, right? You just can't stop and you cannot like say, like you said, okay, I'm fine with that. Because if you do that, then you will really be stuck there and you will never improve and you will never move forward.
If you make an error and then you kind of stop and you shy away from trying to figure out what the error was and why it happened, then you're really hindering yourself instead of, I really got to figure out what we're wrong here so I'm prepared for the next time. And that's what it is. Can we problem solve? Human beings were problem solvers. And current society, it's not problem solving. We're creating more issues, even with corona, more issues instead of problem solving. So learning is everything, and it sucks when you're wrong, and it sucks when you fail. You know what, Ines, just like you mentioned a few seconds ago, whatever I'm going to do and whatever you're going to do, there's going to be always critique. There's going to be always people that are going to
Mm,
support us, and there's going to be always people that are not going to support us. And so what?
mm.
So what? And just move on. That's the biggest.
It's just their opinion. It's not our life. It's not our position to even listen to them.
Always going to be there. It's never going to
Mm,
go away. And that's
mm,
okay. That's perfectly fine.
mm. And how do you, for example, motivate your players? Do they have tough moments? I guess they do. I mean, they're athletes, professional athletes, so I guess it's not easy for them. And I'm sure that sometimes they need like a kick in the ass, if we say like in, you know, home language. How do you motivate them? Do you speak with them? Like I remember how you talked with me in the past, and I know that I was thinking after our conversations. And do you do the same, or what do you tell them?
You know, yelling and screaming doesn't help. So usually it's a
Mm,
hug, sit down, go for a coffee, just casual chat when they're lifting weights. After, before practice, let's go for lunch at the airport. You fly together for 12 hours to China, and maybe you switch seats with somebody and you stay with that person for 2 hours and you talk. And maybe you talk, no, not even volleyball. You
mm,
know, athletes have so many other things going on in their life, just like anybody else. So
mm,
those are the things more than screaming and yelling. And just, but then business is business. When we get to the gym, the elite ones, they can overcome all the issues they have, and they can move
mm,
on and just and play hard. And then here we go, let's go for dinner together.
mm,
So it's that human interaction, nothing more than that. Human
mm,
interaction, able to listen, sometimes in not such a structured way, not in a coach player way, but there's a thin line between, you know, I'm your coach and we're friends, buddies. You probably don't go to the buddy area, but you got to stay within, um, you know, those boundaries where we're still professionals, but I really care about you. They need to know that you care about them and you're willing to do
mm,
whatever it takes them.
mm,
So that's basically what I do. This is what USA staff is doing. We're just very human. Um,
mm,
we're not screamers and yellers. We're very passionate what we're doing. We care about our people.
mm. That's really important. I mean, especially for us women, it's important that we know that we have support. I mean, I don't know if it's our nature, but even though we're strong and we know what are we like trying to achieve in our lives, it's good for us to feel comfortable that we are protected, you know, by someone. So I imagine that for you as a coach, it's really important to give that support to them, and I'm pretty sure that they really appreciate that. That they know if they have like bad moments or low days, they just, you know, they know, okay, I can talk with Luka, even though about, I don't know, unimportant things, like you said. It doesn't matter about what. It's just that, you know, they know that you're there for them. And it's the same in life. If we know that we have support from people that we care about, it's easier. I mean, it's not helping, but it's easier. It's easier to move forward.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you can let your athletes feel vulnerable around you. That they can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say like yeah, they can shed a tear. Ladies, why not? Girls, shed a tear. You know, with your coach.
Mm-hmm.
Show
Mm-hmm.
show show her. Show. Make sure you show your coach your emotion. That's okay, and that helps.
Mm-hmm.
We're together, and athletes, they have a lot of tough moments. They battle every day. You know, they don't want
Mm-hmm.
to practice. They're sore. They're tired. They're just over whatever it is. But they still gotta wake up, eat breakfast, and breakfast got to be amazing, and they got to be doing all the right stuff the right way
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And to do the right stuff the right way all the time, that's taxing. That's really hard. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we got to respect what athletes are doing, and we got to give them support. But at the same time, they got to understand that that's a teamwork, and that's the only thing that it matters. What can you do for the team, not what you can do for
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Exactly. And how about this support from, I don't know, from a family or, I don't know, a partner or friends? Do you think that it has any kind of impact on what we're doing in life?
Everything, everything in my life. If I don't have Tina, if I don't have my two kids that understand, I mean, just now my kids just go by default. They know, oh, my dad is a coach, and this is what's going on. That's the lifestyle we have. But especially with your partner, with your spouse, with my wife, that's if you don't have that, it's impossible. And if you don't have that support, you end up probably getting divorced. That's when coaches get divorced. There's more coaches, elite coaches. I'm going to, let's say not elite, but coaches that work on the top level, which means that the demands are huge. That means 24/7. Every day of your life, it's volleyball. Even when you're like, okay, I'm on vacation, it's still volleyball. There's phone calls. You're always absent because it's volleyball. It's really hard to commit to your family. That's another thing coaches we need to learn how to do that better. But that support is vital. And a lot of coaches, they do get divorced. That's the bottom. Fortunately, that's that. To juggle that, I cannot on my own. I admit I'm not really good at that. So the stronger half, and that's my wife that juggles it for both of us, I guess. Yeah, special one.
Okay, let's go back. We talked that when you have a goal that you just have to, like keep on going. How would you define working hard? Because a lot of people think that working hard is just like physical work, like, I don't know, moving stuff or, building something. But I know that through my eyes, working hard, it means that you just put your whole self into your goal or into your dreams in the end of the day. How would you define that?
Working hard, yeah, doesn't mean just putting in hours, because you can put in hours and you just don't work,
And you still work hard on a paper, right?
Yeah, so you always have to have a plan. That's number one thing. And then you got to have action steps, how this plan is going to be executed efficiently. And then you go and you grind and you work hard towards that goal. Does that mean 12 hours a day? Often. Does that mean 7 hours a day? Yeah, sometimes as well. Does that mean working hard means also have a good rest and exercise and eat well? That's part of what I also understand as a working hard, because it's so easy to get lazy with food. It's so easy to get with exercise. It's so easy to get lazy with your mental health. So these parts are in our lives. In my life as a coach, that's all part of my schedule and structure. If I don't have that structure, and I fail, because the time is limited. So everything's got to be like within schedule. So working hard, like I said, I don't know if I have more for you. It's not just putting hours in, but you got to do right stuff. You got to discern this. You got to determine what's the right thing to do, and you got to do it the right way, and you got to do it a lot. And you got to educate yourself. That's still part of work. But it has nothing to do with hours. But unfortunately, it does require a certain amount of hours, and it's for sure not 8 hours a day. But I don't measure working hard in hours. Is just what I have accomplished, what I've accomplished with my coworkers. That's working hard. But even like, I don't even work hard. It's not in our vocabulary, and I don't even feel like I'm working hard. All I can say is like, my back or my butt is sore right now because I'm sitting on this chair for less than 7. But that's not I'm working hard.
Yeah,
I'm working hard, just how efficient I am at what I'm doing.
Yeah, you don't have this feeling that you work hard because you are working on something that you love. Because I know I feel the same. I can work one whole day or just 2 hours a day. If it's efficient and I know that I did what I had to do, I still worked hard. It doesn't matter if there were 2 hours or 12 or I don't know 15. In the end of the day, when you do what you like and you love, you don't feel like you're working. You know that you're working because you still earn money. Let's be honest, but you're just passionate about it, right?
Working hard, Ines, is it's perception of individual. Like you said, some people work extremely hard. I know people that I work with, they work hard for 2 hours and they're like, wow, I'm done. I mean, they're saying they're done and they're working. And if just people like courage, they keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going since they were born, and they never say they work hard. They just work. They say they work. I just work. Yeah. I show up and I go volleyball, and meanwhile I'm winning gold Olympic medals. So that's my.
Well, I think that's better approaches.
Yeah.
The other one, the negative one, when they're just like whining all the time. Oh, I work so hard, and then wait, what did you do today?
Stop complaining. Go find yourself a new job.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I would say the same, but then normally the response is like, it's not that easy, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been there. But, you know, I decided that I will do something more out of my life, not just, you know, sitting there and doing whatever, I
Life
don't
is
know,
full,
comes. Yeah.
life is full
Uh,
of choice.
Full of choices, yeah. And we are, I don't know if everybody is hearing us well because it's really bad weather here in Slovenia. I hope that connection is okay. Do
I
you hear me okay?
hear you and see you well. No
Okay,
problem.
good. um, yeah, you just said that the life is full of choices. So how do we know that we made the right choice, or how to decide when you have two different options or three maybe? How to decide and how to like not how to decide. We know how to decide, but what's the most important thing that uh, it means for us something more that we choose that decision.
Um, yeah, there's many ways to go around it and to think about it. Um, Sometimes it's just a gut feel. It's just like this feels right, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no good reasoning for that. I took a lot of decisions that didn't make sense, but the gut feel was right, and it was a very,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I'm a stubborn person, so I'm like, okay, this is the toughest. This is the toughest option, so I'll take. I like challenges like that. Sometimes you just sit down and you go plus and minuses, pros and cons, and you take a list and you talk. You talk to people that you trust. I think that's always
Mm-hmm.
good. People that you absolutely trust. Of course, you don't go and ask 10 people, but probably there's a family member that understands you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's my wife that understands me, and she's going to be honest about it. And then, of course, I
Mm-hmm.
have a couple of friends that I can trust. What do you think about this, and this? But eventually, you have to make a decision because if you're taking decision for too long, then you'll make no decision, and things are getting hard. If that decision
Mm-hmm.
was right or wrong, it's going to take a while for you to understand that. But every time I took a decision, I was never wasting my time on was that right or wrong because I already took it, so it's got to be right. And now, what can I learn from this experience and this step in my? That's entirely up to me. Either I can
Mm-hmm.
always guard and be like and break and be cautious. No, once you decide you're all in, you got to be
Mm-hmm.
100%. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
you're not
Mm-hmm.
capable of the or decision that you made. So it's a gut feel for me often. Um, and then, some of us, we have a little bit more like that emotional intelligence, and some of us, we have a little bit less of that emotional intelligence that sometimes helps with making those decisions. Where am I on this specter? But I took a lot of tough and some easy decisions, and I think we did just right. That we're doing just fine. So you gotta
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself. You gotta trust, but it's okay to ask
Mm-hmm.
the loved ones, the ones you trust a lot, and then you gotta get going here, so you're not losing.
And also, I mean, even if we do take a decision that maybe it's not the best one, it's still just a lesson, another lesson that we have to like take in and learn something from it, right?
We lose more than we win, and we make more poor decisions than good decisions. It's impossible to be perfect. It's impossible to make every decision the best for you or the best for your team or for your family. Yeah, you'll
Mm,
screw it up, and that's okay. And if you're okay with that and
mm,
try to learn from that, you're going to be just fine. There's going to be way
mm,
more. You got to gamble a little bit often. So
mm. Yeah. Oh, I could talk about this this topic for I don't know how many hours. Um, let's talk a little bit more about your work specifically. Like you're assistant coach, right? I mean, I know that most of people knows that. So, what do you do exactly? I know what you do, but maybe someone doesn't know, and maybe they want to hear about it.
right now or in general?
In general, what does
Wow.
it mean to be assistant coach of, for example, USA national team? Which is pretty huge, even without saying anything. It's USA, so.
an honor and it's a big responsibility, and we have a really good staff that works together really, really well. So I have a lot of support there. Um,
I
Good net
know.
that thrives on learning, and we are failing a lot, believe it or not. Yes, and we are wrong often. Um, what do I do? Yeah, I mean, we travel a lot and we compete a lot. We wish we would be doing that right now, probably going to, I don't know, in VNL, I don't know where. But
Yeah.
what we do, we plan practice a lot. We learn about our athletes a lot. We teach a lot. We would like to call ourselves every now and then that we're teachers, that we're teaching skills, we're teaching life skills, volleyball skills of our to our younger and some not so young athletes anymore. We analyze a lot. We're face of this organization, USA Volleyball. So it means we're involved in society a lot. Um, we have a lot of guests in our gym during practice, so you got to be them. Um, but mainly, a lot of office work. It's a lot of meetings. We debrief a lot of our practices, basically every practice. How did we do in our practice? Can we do better? Um, and then a lot of individual and group meetings with players. And again, we're
Mm.
preparing for the opponents, analyzing the opponents. But the most important thing is we're really trying to worry about things on our side of the net. Are we the best version of USA that we can be? Because there's so many things that we can impact on our end of the net and maybe not on the other, because they're doing something else. They're playing volleyball as well, but it's so hard to impact that. But definitely we have a lot of work every day, and we're putting in long hours. But again, practice planning, analyzing of that practice, meeting with players, meeting with coaches, meeting with sports performance teams. Sports performance teams are it's a support team, staff members that are not volleyball oriented, but they are strength and conditioning, nutrition, sports performance in terms of mental performance.
Mm.
Um, Physical therapy, so sports medicine department. So we have a pretty large staff that meets daily, and for sure we have a long staff meeting once a week where we just debrief and touch all the current topics that must be touched and we need to work on. And then there's so many things that we are looking ahead of the time, planning for the Olympics and whatever the next big events are.
Mm-hmm.
Either
Mm-hmm.
sometimes travel to those venues in non-competition fashion just to see if everything's set up the way we wanted things to be set up. So it's a lot of planning, and
Mm.
during the season when players are in Europe playing in their professionally in their clubs, that's where we follow them closely. Luckily, we have access to most of the video where we can watch, where we can continue communication with our players, how they're doing. We're also closely following up the college volleyball that's going on at the time, because we're trying to see what's our future,
Mm-hmm.
what are the best college volleyball players having for us. So we got to follow those. Um, there's a lot of national teams that we got to kind of plan, not the junior and youth, but mostly we have a lot of like college national teams. These are the best college athletes that we put them in 3 different national teams, and then they travel, which is not senior national team yet. And of course, within USA, because of NCAA, there's a lot of restrictions. So there's a lot of restrictions you got to work around and understand. And, I travel to Europe to go visit our players, Italy, Turkey, Russia, wherever we have
Mm.
to go, we go to visit our national team players, to meet with their
Mm.
coaches, presidents, make sure we are available for them, make sure their clubs understand that we are there for them to assist, to help if they need anything from us. So we're trying to be
Mm.
very proactive to build relationships with clubs, agents, and
Mm.
sure, be available for our girls that
Mm.
need a lot of support, because you
Mm.
need 10 USA volleyball players, they're always away because we don't have professional league. Actually, professional
Yeah.
league is starting next year, but it's going to
Mm.
be a very short one at the beginning. Our girls are always away, 11 months a year. They're always out of the country.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
They need that love. They need that attention, and they
Mm.
deserve it. And
Mm.
when they come back, we cannot be like Italy. Italy's always home, so they can train like crazy.
Mm.
We got our girls off, a few days off, so they can go see their boyfriends, husbands, families, go see doctors, because they don't do that throughout the year, which guys can do. So our work is our schedule is pretty complex, but it's very, very exciting. So it covers a lot. It covers a lot.
Yeah.
We run coaching clinics where we educate ourselves, where we educate others. So it's a pretty busy schedule.
That's why I ask you, because I know that a lot of people, especially from Slovenia, they don't understand that your job is actually a full-time job, because as you know, in Slovenia we don't have that. Our, I don't know, coaches of national teams are just like, you know, summer jobs actually. I mean, in theory, I know that you know, it's not like that, but in theory it's like that. So I know that when you talk to someone that has to do and be like involved in this process, like 24 hours a day and, you know, like 12 months, it's a little bit different. It is a little bit different. And I know, because I heard so many times from you and some other coaches during this time at FIVB, but it's hard to imagine because we're not used to that. We all know that in Slovenia, I mean, you were doing that job as well. You just conditions that you have, and that's it. And then when you're done, thank you very much and goodbye.
I mean, it can be a 2-hour thing. You go to the practice and that's it. It can, but I don't know what can you accomplish by doing that. So, but it can be also a 15-hour job easily. Now you got to balance, and that's something we talked about earlier. What's the right way to go about it, and how often do you do it? You know, how consistent are you at doing stuff? But it's a full-time job, more than a full-time job, or not. But there's also some downtime for us, but not as much as you would think. So it's ongoing thing, and it's 24/7. Even though if you don't want it to be 24/7, it's still 24/7. All day.
But I mean, in the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many hours you work on that. As you said before, the important thing is that you have support and that the whole team works like one big happy family, right? Because we both know that in the past we had some difficulties about conditions and stuff like that. And I know that even if you have like idea, coach, assistant coach, it doesn't matter who, or team manager, or I don't know who, has idea how it should be, and you don't have the right conditions and right support, it's impossible to work. I mean, you can work, obviously, but you will never get like the results that you're wanted to achieve, right?
Yeah, having a support, and I'm not talking about support. I'm just talking about
exactly.
function.
Yeah.
Try to make the best of the team, for you to learn, to impact people around you, to allow people impact you. You need that support, and if you don't have it, it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a long season, and a lot of unhappy people. Yeah. So choose, if you have option to choose, and I know there's options. You got to make sure that you talk to your manager or club that it's about to hire you. Are you going to allow me to do these things? Are you going to allow me to fail every now and then? That's not like, oh, I'm protecting my butt of losing. No. What are we going to do? We're going to try to change this. We're going to try to change this. We're going to try to change culture. We're going to try to play a system, how we play volleyball. And that's going to require some time. Do you have that patience? Yes or no? The answer is simple. Question is simple, so the answer should be simple. Yes or no. And you got to have people that are going to understand that and support you. And that's not the case every single time.
I don't know how much do you follow the situation in Slovenia lately, but what you just said, it's happening quite often here in our volleyball clubs, that, you know, they hire a coach, and then, of course, every coach has his own idea how he wants to present his work. And somewhere in, I don't know, in the middle of the season, the club fires the coach, and then everybody's like, why that happened, you know? And then when you like start listening, for me, they're just excuses, because like you said, if you give an opportunity to someone and you like allow them to do their job, because obviously they are experts on their area, then you cannot change your mind in the middle of the season, because you don't just ruin them like coaches, but you ruin the whole plan and the future, and I don't know, maybe achievements or anything. I don't know, everything that is connected to the work, right?
I mean, philosophies of the club and new coach, they have to align somehow.
Exactly. Yeah.
They have to, or at least club has to gamble a little bit and just let you be, to implement your philosophy. And a lot of people are there just not patient enough. Of course, there's got to be standards set high also from the club that, hey, coach, you got to meet these standards. And I'm not talking about winning or losing. I'm just talking, hey, this is what we want to see that you're implementing what. Okay, if you're talking, and then done, and I'm not talking about winning and losing, then maybe you're not meeting the standard, and maybe that's why we let you go. But often on the club side, there's nobody that's going to monitor that. At least people that are knowledgeable enough to understand, or they're interested enough in coach's philosophy to sit down and talk about philosophy. Listen, coach, what's his philosophy or her philosophy, and see if that's actually being implemented in the process. That's the problem, that on this side, not often good listener or somebody that is willing to invest time, because usually those people, they have other jobs, to invest time to understand what the philosophy is and how we're going to implement that. And then the clash happens, and of course the things happen the way they happen. But there's got standards for his coach as well. You are responsible for a young group of players. You're responsible for budget. You're responsible for fans, and you got to do things the right way. Now it's up to coach to figure out how that's going to go. And if there's ethical issues, or issues that, if there's some other stuff going on that we don't hear every day, then from the coach's end, then coach must be let go, and that coach probably never coach again if there is something more than just But philosophies have to align, and club needs to pay close attention to how that evolves and how that process is going. Showing up in a gym once a week or twice a week, that's not the support from the club that coach needs. There's got to be a coach representative in a gym every day for 5-10 minutes. That's plenty, either before or after, to chat with coach, or at least to jump on the phone with the coach. That's how you show respect for the work of the coach, respect for the players. And again, maybe you don't have time, but maybe you can designate somebody else from the club to go do that, and you share the role. So there's always somebody from the club around the team. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really hard. If I see manager of the team every 2 weeks, it's really hard to build that relationship.
Yeah, every 2 weeks, or only when something goes wrong. That's even worse. I know I talk with the players a lot, especially with, I don't know, local ones here, and they say often that, they feel like they're not important because no one from the club comes to talk to them or just say hi, like you said. And I mean, you don't need to do I don't know what. You just have to appear there and say, hi guys, hi girls, how are you? Everything okay? Do you need something? No? Okay. I wish you a successful practice, and I see you around. It's not that hard. It's like being human, because even though you're a president or manager, you're still human. And if you don't show your human side to your players, then they don't know that you matter to them. I mean, they have to feel, like you said before, how you treat your players. I mean, they have to feel that support, and that that they're there for you, because they are representing your club in the end of the day.
We often forget coaches and people that are working in club or for the federation that it's about players. It's not about us.
Exactly.
This is moving forward because of the players. They're the one getting on the court. They're the one they're winning and losing. They're the one that are doing all the work. And listeners don't have to agree with that, but they're the one that are running this. So we acknowledge that and make sure we tell them we love you and thanks for doing that.
Exactly.
We're good at that. We're not really good at that. Coaches and people who are running federations and clubs, we're not really good at that.
Yeah.
And we need to invest more time and like building those relationships and telling our players thanks for doing that.
Exactly.
Yes, we're paying you, but that's not the
That's not
proper
the point. Yeah, exactly.
part that we agreed in the contract. But
Yeah.
then there are things that are beyond contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
A life and a hug and hey, keep going. We love you. We have your back. That's what matters. That's when people will do extra steps for you. That's when coaches will do extra steps for you.
Yeah, exactly.
All
I can totally,
get much better at that.
yeah, I can totally agree. I remember a case, I think it was it was the first year of VNL, and we had a situation in one of the events, and I actually kind of, had normally I'm the youngest one there, you know that, but I had to explain to older people and to, with from different functions. I don't want to say it now out loud, but I needed to explain to them that everything that's happening is happening because of the players and for the players. Because if we don't have players on the court, we don't have the event. We don't have the spectators. We don't have sponsors. We don't have anything, And I had to explain to them that if some player needs, sometimes they just need like attention, because as you know, some competitions are really hard and really tough, and they're long and they're stressful and everything. And sometimes if player, I don't know, reacts not in the best way, it's just because they need attention, because they need to see that we care for them, even though we're from the side of the organizer or FFB or CV, it doesn't matter, right? And I still don't understand people who don't understand this part that you were talking about. We are everything that we do for the players and for the team, right? Because without them, we don't have anything. We don't have results. We don't have I don't know, events. We don't have anything actually. And sometimes you hear managers or presidents say, "Well, I don't need you. I will always find another player." Yeah, of course you will, but you can also find another president and another manager. So, I mean, this human touch is extremely important in sports, and I really miss that sometimes, at some occasions.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah.
And once you work in an environment that kind of allows you to do that, then you can actually do it. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
gotta just fight too many battles, so
Yeah.
you forget human interaction and how important it is to tell somebody, "Hey, thank you, and you're really good," or "How can I help you? What can I do?" Those are not questions that come across a lot, at least in my past. Those
Yeah,
were not
I agree.
that I heard. But also, there's got to be also a certain standard of behavior for athletes. They cannot just storm in and ask everything. But in
Yeah,
general,
of course.
those type of athletes. I've worked with many athletes in Slovenia, national team, here in US, and you don't have many athletes like that you need to worry about. They're going to misbehave or they're going to be an idiots and they're going to be disrespectful to organizers. If that's hopefully you address that earlier, you're building the culture where that doesn't happen. But if it does, you address in a professional manner, in a good manner, and you act accordingly. In general, I mean, I haven't encountered too many players like that, but they also need to understand that we're representing something larger than me. We're representing our club, our country, whatever that is, Slovenia, USA, and how we act that reflects on us. And so it's really important that that message comes across often. It comes across in our gym all the time, who we are representing and why are we doing this. So our girls are really good about that. But it's really important that players understand that people that are supporting us, that are creating this event for us, they put a lot of work in there. So we teach our girls, and they're pretty good. They're really good about it, to say thank you to these people and shake hands and introduce yourself. Make sure that people that work for you in, let's say, Conegliano VNL event, when you were there, thank you, sign jersey, give them a hug, give them a hand. That has to come from players as well for this to function in a normal way.
Yeah, it's that's one of the most important things. I mean, I think everybody knows that I also work for FFB, and during these events, of course, we meet like probably all the teams that they're competing in these competitions, and there's such a huge difference from player to player, how do they act and how do they present themselves. I mean, I have some really nice stories, and I have also some really bad that I don't even want to say it to anyone, because I'm ashamed that one professional athlete is capable of presenting himself like that. Because in the end of the day, like you said, everybody who's connected to sports, it doesn't matter, or the team or national team or organizer or organization, it doesn't matter. We're all there for the same goal, like to give something out good, something good out of it. If that's a good match or a good, I don't know, performance or good organizing, goals, whatever. But in the end of the day, we all present the same thing. We all present like sports, and in our case, volleyball. So if we will act like, I don't know, I don't want to say like animals, because animals act nice, but we have to have this how do you say, this knowledge that, like you said, it's bigger than us, and how we present ourselves. It doesn't mean just like, okay, that was one word that I said. It has a lot of, I don't know, how do you say, comebacks after it. You can start something really, really big, even you're saying or doing something good, or saying and doing something bad.
Yeah, whatever we do has a huge impact and consequences on. So, and that's another job of coaches, that you gotta now decide. You gotta, who do I want on my team? Who do I want in my staff? If there's somebody that has such behavior problems, then it's entirely up to you. Do you keep player like that around, or you don't? I don't. Never. I would
I
never,
know.
never my team, because somebody doesn't understand how we should behave and how we should represent. I'm just the one going to waste 75% of my energy on one player if there's 13, 14 players waiting for my attention, and they want my. So that's up to coach and up to the leadership. But on our USA team, NC State, that's no go, and girls know that. Good humans only, not the bad players. Good human beings only.
Exactly.
Everything for the team. Of course, you have some ego kicking in, and that's okay. You have to have a little bit of ego going on, otherwise you cannot be successful. But at the end of the day, it's all about the team.
You said this word impact, which is extremely important as well, right? Because not just in sports, but whatever one single human being does and says can have impact. And especially athletes or people who work in sports like us, I can totally see the difference how people react on us on these like international events, like you said, because they're fans and they're people who really want to be there, and they want to see like this top volleyball and top players, and how people who don't know anything about it and they don't care about sports behave toward us, for example. And this impact that we have, I think it's one of the most important things in our lives as well, because we are doing something good in the end of the day, because sports is something that it has to be in this world. It just, like now in this situation with corona, when there's no sport at all, it's crazy. It's I know that I'm getting crazy about it, and I know that whatever we do in sports world, it has an impact, right? So it doesn't matter if our little kids who are looking like this on a players, or it's an impact on someone that, I don't know, wants to achieve something more in his life. We do have impact. So it's really important, how do we offer this to the world.
Everything we do, the way we act, the way we behave, the way we interact with people, it has an impact, especially as coaches, our players, and people that are working for the club. You can create such a beautiful culture, or you can just have a disaster going on. And we can impact so many young lives, especially young lives, just with one gesture that we do, or just one interaction that's so powerful that it's unbelievable, and we don't understand that to the degree that we people working in profession that has a lot to do with relationships, and it takes time, and it takes perseverance, and it takes, you know, you got to invest your time into relations, and it's worth it, because at the end of the day it pays back big time.
I agree 100%. Okay, I mean, we're already talking 50 minutes. I think it's one of the longest conversation I had. We will have to end soon because Instagram story, the live story just ends after 60 minutes, so I don't want to be there again. I was there with Kozamirnik, I think. So I will ask you just for one last thing, and I don't know, give some good advice to our followers, or I don't know, try to motivate them. I know that it's not easy now during this Corona, because in the end of the day, all the athletes are at home. They have no practice. People miss sports, not just professional athletes, everybody. So just, I don't know, give them some good advice, please.
It is tough times, but for us coaches, it's also good times. I talked to Giovanni Guidetti, I don't know, when was that? And he was like, I'm just being coach all the time. I have no time to educate myself. And I know he's one of the hardest working coaches, one of the nicest coaches. And he's like, Luka, I don't have time to educate myself. And I'm sure right now, because he's not in the gym, he's reading all the books, talking to all the coaches, watching all the video, educating himself. And that's what we do right now. We're learning other skills. I'm learning how to do Instagram story like with you right now, how to use Zoom. I'm learning stuff that I just couldn't learn, that I didn't have time to learn earlier. And doing stuff that usually I don't have time to do as much as I want, reading books, talking to friends, to other fellow coaches, and actually dig into all the details of the motor learning, of biomechanics, I don't know, human brain, whatever maybe gives me a little bit of extra knowledge that's going to help me be a little bit better coach. So there's so much work to be done that we usually cannot do when we're in the gym and doing our normal, we're running our normal schedule. So I don't know, just be creative and just don't be lazy. Just grab the book, read, ask questions. Don't feel like you look bad if you're asking questions. Just go out all 100% out. And don't worry what people are saying. Even now, like, there's so much to learn. Like I'm saying, we're reading, we're just analyzing, we're talking to coaches a lot, educating coaches a lot, and having stuff like that going on. So there's a lot of good in this, a lot of good. And of course, we all are very excited to go back to normal. It's going to probably take a while.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So guys, thank you very much for listening to us. Me and Luka could easily talk for a few more hours, but like I said, life story doesn't allow that. So just be patient. Okay, this situation, it's not forever. It's gonna end at some point, and you have to be positive about it. And like we started, we will end with this thought that everything in life has to be in a positive way, and just choose positive approach, and everything will be okay. Luka, thank you again for joining me. It was a pure pleasure. And guys, I saw some comments. We're just saying hi to you, all of you. Ciao Chiara, ciao Maida. Thank you for being with us. Ciao Marga. And have a nice day. And I will be back with you tomorrow with another guest. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.